Hey everybody, this is D Hunter, bringing another action figure review. Today, we're going to look at the Neca Horror of Dracula Ultimate Action Figure. This is the Christopher Lee version of Dracula. They already released the Bela Lugosi version, and I hope they release as many versions as possible. I pre-ordered this guy from the Neca store. It arrived today, so let's take a look at the packaging. Who will be his bride tonight? Horror of Dracula Ultimate Action Figure. One side of the package, Horror of Dracula, Neca. Other side, same thing. At the back, here's a bunch of different looks. Horror of Dracula. At the bottom, there's his barcode, if that helps. This is one of Neca's ultimate figures. Window box packaging, you can hear the Velcro as I open it up. On the inside flap, here he is. And then here's the figure with all of his accessories. So with no further ado, let's open him up. Alright, now that this figure out of the package, here he is with all the accessories laid out. He comes with a total of 5 interchangeable hands, 3 interchangeable heads, a cape, 2 candles, and a shovel. Before I tell you about all that, let's talk about and check out the figure. So this is Dracula for the 1958 film Dracula, played by Christopher Lee. This was sort of a, reimagining of Dracula to a point. The original classic black and white Dracula is still the one I sort of associate with my version of Dracula, but everyone's experience is a little bit different. From what I read, this movie actually introduced the fangs in a vampire, and it had a really dark, brooding sexuality to the character and to the film. Christopher Lee here, rest in peace, is mainly known for some of his horror roles like Dracula, Saruman in Lord of the Rings, Count Dooku in Star Wars, but he's a very rich, diverse actor, has done a lot of stuff over the years. So let's take a closer look. It's done on a Neca suited body. It could be a regular background character, but we all know it's really Dracula. The hair is sort of slicked back, face looks very serious. He looks like he has some sort of ascot or something there. You can see the white collar, black jacket on top. It is a single jointed elbow. See, he's got those sort of creepy horror type hands right now. Single jointed knees. I'm curious how much, if any, reuse there is from the original Dracula. It's kind of a basic looking figure, but the detail is pretty nice, and he looks like a good, sort of wealthy guy in a suit. And a closer look at his face and head sculpt, I can totally see a sort of younger version of Christopher Lee there. Not that he was exactly a young man in the film, probably in his mid-40s. And then here's the figure, broken down as far as he can go, with all of his removable parts detached. Now let's check out his accessories. Starting off with his hands. He has a total of 5 different hands, 2 left hands, and 3 right hands. Here's a look at his first pair of hands. This is a pair of gripping hands. And here's his second pair of hands. This is a pair of creepy, sort of grabbing hands from Dracula, coming right toward you. And he has 1 additional right hand. This is a pointing hand. Now let's look at his heads. He has 3 of them. 1 with a regular expression, 1 with some blood around the mouth, and 1 with red eyes, mouth open, blood around the mouth, like he's in the process of feeding. Here's a look at his first head. This one has the regular expression and looks just like a regular human. You would never know he's a vampire or Dracula. And here's his second head. He has the red eyes, you can see his fangs, blood around the mouth, looks like he's just finished feeding. From what I read, this film introduced the red eyes and fangs to the vampire lore. And here's his third head. He looks crazed. Red eyes, fangs, blood all over the mouth. Looks like he's right in the middle of feeding. Next we have his cape. His cape is made of cloth soft goods. It feels very nice. It's kind of heavy, so it'll drape down very nicely. The majority of his cloth soft goods, very soft, almost silky. And then we have this little bit of a plastic collar with a little tie at the front. You'll have to remove his head, pop this on, and put the head back on. All the Dracula figures have had very nice capes so far. Here he is with his cape attached. It's a very nice look for the figure. Now we have these candles. One is a regular candle lit, and the other one is a candle completely caught on fire, burned on one side. See the candle holder? Candle, good detail. Can be very useful in action figure dioramas, etc. And this one has fire all over the side. He can hold and carry around those candles. And finally, we have this shovel. As you can see, it has kind of a metal paint job, and the entire thing seems to have that all the way to the tip of the handle. Here's Dracula holding and using that shovel. And I was curious on the reuse on this Christopher Lee Dracula, and to my surprise, he shares no shared parts whatsoever with the original Dracula. But he shares a lot of parts with the Vincent Price figure. The same legs, same feet, same arms, same hands, different torso and head. Now that we've taken a pretty good look at both the figure and his accessories, let's check out his height. From bottom to the top of his head, standing about 7.4 inches tall, which can translate to just under 19 centimeters. And for his articulation. Starting with his head, of course, you can rotate side to side. He can look up and down about that much. Can tilt his head from one side to the other. Shoulders on a ball joint goes about 90 degrees. Up, down, around. He's got a single jointed elbow. Goes in more than 90 degrees, quite a bit more. Pretty impressive there, actually. With rotation. The wrist can rotate, and it is hinged. It's hinged up and down. Okay. Looks like the different hands are hinged in different ways. That one's hinged up and down, and then the sort of grabbing hand is hinged the other direction. Torso is one solid piece. He's got a ball joint in the waist, rotate around, forward and back. Legs, they go out about that far. Ball joints. The legs can rotate independently against the ball. Then go forward, about that far, back not much. Single jointed knees, 90-degree bend with rotation. And the ankles, forward and back the tiniest bit. Rotate, tilt, rock, also just a tiny bit. Here's a look at Dracula. Blood around his mouth. About to feed. About to grab you. Now let's check him out. Next to some other action figures. Starting off with some of the Dracula figures. Here's this Christopher Lee Dracula. Next to the Bela Lugosi Dracula from 1931. Neca actually made 4 different versions of that Dracula. The glow-in-the-dark, black and white, color, and loot crate. And I guess 5 if you count the Crypt Club version, but that's exactly the same as the Loot Crate version. And here, with a couple of Marvel Legends Dracula figures. Then, next to some NECA Nosferatu figures, the color, black and white, and glow-in-the-dark versions. Next, with the NECA Count from Munsters. And now, next to a Loose Collector Vampirella figure. And finally, next to a couple of Vampire Batman figures. Now let's check them out, next to some action figures from different various companies, so we can see how he fits in both scale and style-wise, in case you know which lines you can mix him with. Since he's a NECA toy, they're typically the 7-inch scale. I'm going to start off my comparisons with some of the larger action figure lines I collect, and work my way smaller. But first, let's check him out with some of his NECA brothers. In front of you are 5 different action figure lines, all from NECA toys, all 7-inch scale, and now, with some Jakks-specific wrestling figures, and some Diamond Select toys. Here he is, next to my gaming headset. And here he is, with some McFarlane and DC Direct figures. Then, with both some Mattel and Jazzwares wrestling figures. And now, with some Mezco and Mattel DC figures. Next, with some Mafex and Hasbro Marvel Legends. And finally, with some SH Figure Arts and Jazzwares Fortnite figures. So overall, this is a really nice Christopher Lee Dracula figure. My complaints? Honestly, they're minimal. I think the figure looks pretty good. It is reused from Vincent Price, but it's really not a big deal. Just a suited guy, he looks fine. The figure looks a little bit basic, but it's accurate to what he wore in the film. The accessories are pretty cool. We have the appropriate hands, plenty of different heads. The cape is fantastic. Articulation, honestly, it's not bad. Single jointed elbows, but they go in almost as far as a double jointed one would do, and it looks a lot better. So I'm actually really impressed with how NECA handled the elbow execution. He doesn't need to be a super articulated figure. I think he can do everything you really need to do. Sculpt and paint job, excellent. No issues there. I mean, a lot of black on this guy, not a lot of colors, as it should be. If I were to rate this guy, I don't see any reason to give him less than 8 out of 10, which is a pretty high rating in my book. Figure is pretty accurate, pretty well done from the source material. So this is D Hunter. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked the video, press like below. If anything you want to say about the video, add to the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you for watching this video, and I will talk to you guys real soon.